Don't you think it was weird how that fella acted when you showed him the picture of Captain Whitaker?
What do you mean?
Well, you showed him the picture and he just goes, don't know him right off the bat. Then you said he's a police officer and he goes, police officer. Now, how come he would care if he's a police officer if he'd never heard of him?
No, that didn't strike me as being the slightest bit weird.
Well, then you asked if his wife knew anything about the fella in the picture. Now, how come he would have to think about that if he had never heard of this fella?
You know what you remind me of? That lesbian chick from the Scooby-Doo cartoon.
That lesbian... okay, why are you and Officer Byers so interested in the sexual habits of cartoon characters?
Because it's funny. And you're funny too.
Well, you're full of shit. Plus, $125,000, that's a shit ton of money to pay for a boat like that.
Okay, so you're a boat expert these days?
Well, Bobby Lee has a boat twice that size or bigger, and it's a newer model. That's half the reason why I started dating him. And his daddy co-signed a loan for no more than $50,000. So you're telling me this fella's going to turn around and pay $125,000? It just doesn't...
You really are a boat expert. I mean, maybe this guy got ripped off.
Well, he said himself that he'd been around boats his whole life. He's not going to turn around and pay twice what one's worth.
Savannah, what is your experience with investigating 2 dead people found on the side of a back-ass country road?
Not a whole lot. What's yours? I think it was weird how that fella acted when you showed him the picture of Captain Whitaker.
What do you mean?
You showed him the picture and he says, no, he don't know him. Right off the bat. Then you said he was a police officer and he says, police officer? How come he cares somebody's a police officer when you don't know who it is?
No, it didn't strike me as being the slightest bit weird.
Then you said, did your wife ever say something about this fella in the picture? How come he had to think about somebody he didn't know and never heard of?
You know who you remind me of? That lesbian chick from Scooby-Doo.
Why are you and Officer Byers so interested in the sexual habits of cartoon characters?
Because it's funny. You're funny too.
No, you're full of shit. Plus, that's a shitload of money. $125,000 to pay for a boat like that?
So you're a boat expert these days?
Bobby Lee had one that size or bigger. And a newer model. That's why I started dating him. His daddy co-signed a loan. His didn't cost no more than $50,000. So this fella goes and pays $125,000?
You really are a boat expert. Maybe that guy got ripped off.
He said he'd been around boats his whole life. He knows better than to pay twice what one's worth.
Savannah, what's your experience with investigating 2 dead people found on the side of a back-ass country road?
Not a whole lot. What's yours? Hi, I'm Savannah Jackson. I work with the Washington Police. Do you mind if I come in and ask you a few questions?
For sure, Miss Savannah. Come on into the house.
I didn't expect this kind of office. You're a notary public?
Notary public, bail bonds, pawn shop, payday loans. I got my finger in everything. Even got a license to marry people if the occasion presents itself.
Well, I am not currently with anybody, but should I get a boyfriend and should we get serious, I'm sure it'll be the first man we call.
Only if you allow me to conduct the ceremony pro bono. Now then, what can I do you for, Miss Savannah?
Yes. Last week, 2 men conducted a boat deal, as in one sold it to the other type thing. Mr. Rand Kestrel and Ronald Thornberry. You were the notary on that. I was just wondering if you remember any details about that?
I'm sorry. I didn't see a badge or ID.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I should have explained. I'm not an officer or anything. I'm just, I work for the department. They wanted me to come around and ask a few questions, get some general information. So, this sale, I mean, do you remember anything, like maybe the cost of the boat and so forth?
I tell you, much stuff as I got going on. I stay so busy most of the time I can't remember my own name. Let alone everyone I gotta put a stamp on.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you remember just a ballpark figure, the cost of the boat.
You sure it was my stamp?
Uh-huh. Yep. You were, having the stamp ending in 6031. Turns out you're the only notary in the state with a stamp ending in those 4 digits.
Mm-hmm. Coffee?
Read my mind.
I might have stamped it a while back, even if the deal just went down last week.
Mm. Like you notarize it for the seller and the buyer notarizes it later?
Yeah. My buyer usually gets it done at the DMV. This is why I always say coffee is mighty fine anytime, day or night.
No, thank you. It's a little early for me. So this sale, did you remember if it was maybe done with cash or a check or anything?
Somebody shows me an ID, I stamp it. What they do between each other is their own business.
Sorry to bother you. Like I said, it's probably nothing. Just, gathering information, checking some boxes.
I'm always glad to help the police. In my line of work, it pays to be nice.
Well, if you should remember anything about the 2 men or the boat deal, just call the station house. My name's Savannah Jackson. You can remember that.
Last week, 2 men did a boat deal. One sold it to the other type thing. Mr. Rand, Kestrel, and Ronald Thornbury. You were nerdy on that. I was just wondering if you remembered anything about it.
I'm sorry. I didn't see a Badger ID.
Oh, no, sorry. I should have explained. I'm not a police officer. I just work for the department. I'm just here to ask a couple questions, just general information type stuff. Thank you. The important stuff they say for the big guys. I was just wondering if you remembered anything about the sale, like sale price and whatnot.
I tell you, much stuff as I got going on, I stay so busy most of the time I can't remember my own name, let alone everybody I put a stamp on.
Oh, well, I already have the names. I was just wondering, like a ballpark, if you knew how much the boat cost.
You sure it was my stamp?
Uh-huh. See, the last 4 numbers on the rotary stamp for 6031, and yours is the only one in the state that says 6031.
Mm-hmm. Coffee?
Oh, read my mind.
A lot of time what happens is somebody gets something with intent to sell. They sometimes go ahead and get the stamp on the title so the title's clean. And they ain't got to be around to make the transfer happen. You understand what I'm saying? So, might have stamped it a while back, even if the deal just went down last week.
Okay, so you notarize it for the seller and the buyer notarizes it later?
Yeah, the buyer usually gets it done at the DMV. This is why I always say coffee is mighty fine any time, day or night.
Sorry, thank you. A little early for me. So the sale, do you remember if it might have been done with like cash or check or?
Somebody shows me an ID, I stamp it. What they do between each other is their own business.
Sure, sorry, sir. All right. Thank you. Probably nothing. I was just covering a few bases type thing.
I'm always glad to help the police in my line of work. It pays to be nice.
Well, if you should remember anything about the transaction and the 2 men or all, just call the station. I'm Savannah Jackson, if you can remember that.
I'm sure I won't forget it. Jackson. We had a police chief here a while back named Jackson.
Yes, sir. That was my daddy.
Was he? Like father, like daughter. Chief Jackson. Whatever happened to Chief Jackson?
He died, sir.
Sorry to hear that. Line of duty?
Natural causes. Of course, he was curled up on the middle of the floor, mouth open, grabbing at the kitchen table. Looked like he just laid down and went to sleep while his body turned on.
Don't work too hard, Miss Jackson.
Yes, sir. Sorry. I'll try my best not to. Have a good one.